Ovrdark is a puzzle horror game on PSVR2 and PC VR through Steam VR. In this game you are George Foster, an investigator, and you are looking for your friend Mike and his wife and daughter. But something is wrong with his mansion, and there is a strange mold growing on some of the walls, and something isn't right with Mike. I really enjoyed this title, and I think you might as well if you like horror games. I plan to break down this game so that you can decide if it is for you, but first I just want to thank you for watching, and if you would like to see my channel grow, please like and subscribe. Ovrdark is a sequel to Do Not Open, which I had never played because it is not a VR game. But I read a quick overview and it seems that in Do Not Open you play as Mike Garang. It appears that in Ovrdark you are an investigator named George trying to find out what happened to Mike and his family. This game is pretty good about keeping tensions high throughout. There are a lot of small puzzles and areas where you need to find something and unlock something to progress to the next area, much like you might find in a Resident Evil game or in Madison VR. But the puzzles seem much more straightforward than the ones in Madison. There was only one puzzle that I actually got stuck on for more than a few attempts, and looking back I should have figured it out right away, but I wasn't looking at it correctly. This game has areas that demand for you to be as still as possible, not moving your head or hands, and also has areas where you have to move slowly or you have to run. It can be unnerving because you are never really sure if you are doing the right thing or if you are doing it well enough. Moving a little too much or moving a little too fast means instant death. And if you haven't saved in a while, that can be pretty stressful. The story of Ovrdark is good as well. I don't want to give anything away, but I thought this was simply going to be a zombie game, and it definitely wasn't that. At least not in the normal sense. Now for some of you who've played Do Not Open, you might already know what's going on, but as someone who doesn't play non-VR games, I had no idea what to expect and was pleasantly surprised. Graphically, the game's very good. It isn't photorealistic, but it definitely has high resolution. The textures are very detailed and look great both far away and up close. The animation and voice acting are very convincing. The background noises and environment are just creepy enough that you never feel comfortable. This is one of those horror titles where you cannot defend yourself, and the mansion becomes a pretty decent maze as you progress. It is easy to get lost and not remember how to get back to where you need to go, and while you aren't actively pursued by an enemy through the entire game, you do always feel like you can run into one at any time. The mechanics are good. There are a lot of things that you can interact with, and most things feel like they work correctly. There is some dial turning style actions that always feel a little funky for me in VR, but they don't happen that often, and I didn't find them frustrating like I do in some games. My first playthrough of Ovrdark took between 3 and 4 hours, but now that I know all of the puzzles and roughly where to go, I could probably beat it much faster than that in a second playthrough. It isn't a long game, but it is a quality game, and what is here feels like a premium experience. If you like games like Madison and Resident Evil, I think you would enjoy this title. This game is $29.99 US dollars on both PSVR2 and Steam VR. And I would say the game quality merits that price, but the length of the game is on the shorter side, so it really comes down to how much of a fan of horror games you are as to whether or not it is worth it for you. I definitely don't regret my purchase. For the PSVR2 players, this game does have a platinum trophy. Have you played Ovrdark? Did you enjoy it? And if you haven't, do you plan on picking it up? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and game on.